I'll be more focused towards these pillars implemented in our React application. So in this application, I'm using one mock server as named as a JSON server. So as said, in this web application, we have three requirements where we have to display the users list, the post list, and the comment sections. So what I can do is straightforward, I'll jump onto the app.js, I'll start implementing the user sections, then post section, and then comment section. For that, I will have to call this API that I have shown already, that JSON mock server, and I'll try to fetch the data and will try to, bind those data into this app.js. So let's get your hands dirty now. Components. So I'll say user element, again I'll say user post. The third one is going to be user post comments. Let's revisit the variable name. It's a user element, so I would say user post element and user post comments element to make it more readable and more meaningful. So I'm going to use the fetch API already available in Windows object. So what I'll do is I'll call result is equal to fetch, and the URL I'll copy it from there, and the method is going to be get. So I would say it's a method get, and some headers I'll pass is named as content type is equal to application slash JSON. I will get the result, will format into the JSON, and will try to store into sub variable. So for that reason, I will have to create some local state variable which will hold this value from the API. So I would say users and set user. I will use the React use state, and initially it will be having default array, empty array as a users list. And then I would say result set users is equal to results. Any result, so we can omit this value, and we are still setting into the set user, so we can directly set the result receiving from the last line number 13 last enable promise, so we can set into the set users variable. The similar way we will do it for the comment section. We'll say fetch and this. To save the time, what I'll do is I'll copy paste from here and replace the URL letter based on the specific URL. But for this reason, I need to create another two variables, basically the state, which will hold the respective data. Comments and set comments. Let's replace with the actual one, set post and set comments. I'll take the API details from here. I've already written here, so I'll paste it here. This is user one, so I'll go here and I'll paste it here, and the last one is about the comment section, so I'll go and I'll copy it here and post it here. But this is not yet done. We just stored into the state. We need to work on the still on the presentational side. So what I can do is I can write some script here to write like users dot map user return p tag user. Similarly, I'll do for post and then for comments as well. I will just replace the variable with the actual one. And I will say comment. I will write here post. I'll say post and I'll get the post printed. But this is an object. This is an object. We have some value inside it. So what I'll do is instead of p tag, I'm going to convert into the pre tag. So we can print the JSON itself. Now presentational part is done. We have made the callback here to get the data from the API, but still it is not invoked. So I'll use the use effect hook to call these API, or maybe to fetch the data from the API on mount. So I'll say I'll say it users. I'll make it more friendly, so I'll say is user posts, and I will say user post comments, users post. If you look at this naming convention, this is not the meaningful. So let's try to solve it first, and then we'll jump onto the design principle. So let's make it get user posts, and then we can say get user post comments. Now it looks good. We know what function is about, which function will do what activity, and these names are meaningful as well. Let me format it for a bit. Now let's give it a try. So as I said, I have completed the calling part, the fetching the data from the server. I have done my basic setup with the presentational, but I mentioned about one thing. These values is going to contain about this value will contain an object basically, so you cannot print the object itself into the React DOM. So what you need to do is either you can stringify it to make it as a string one, okay. So let's go back to the example. Okay, so here it's complaining about objects is not a valid React child. As I said, it's a object you cannot render itself, so you have to convert it. Let's apply the same treatment here as well for the comment section. Okay, so let's give it a try. Users.map is not a function. What does it mean is this API is not returning a collection. So we will convert into the collection, so it will start working now. Okay, so we have this here, we have a post here, we have a comments here. But let's take an example on the app.js. What we have done here is we have wrapped everything at the one place. And as per the pillar number 1, design principle number 1, single responsibility principle, a component should have only specific jobs to do. Here we have 3 different jobs. First, we have to show the user's detail. Second, we have to show the post detail. Third, we have to show the commits, and each one is associated with its data fetching part. So how can we fix that? So as the rule number 1 suggests, let's try to break it down into a small pieces. So what I'll do is I'll create a new file called users.js. Similarly, I'll do new file for post.js, and the next part for comment.js. What I'll do is I'll copy paste all the stuffs from here to there so we can save some time. I'll just name it as a comment. I'll name it as a post. This one is going to be the user one. Let's fix the export part. Similarly here, and then same treatment goes to commit file. I'm going to save all the files together and going to rectify this section a bit. I'm going to call my small presentational component here from and then we'll say post comment and then comment. What I'll do is, instead of doing all this activity, what we can do is we can just call it as a user post and the comment. Let's clean up a bit here as well, because we have unwanted methods here which is not needed in this file. So let's try to remove all those stuff from here and actually from each file. Similarly, we will remove the comments and user from the post file, and we'll keep only post related information here. Let's go to comment section and try to delete unwanted calls, variables which are not needed here. Let's do the same treatment for the variables as well. Format a bit, save it, and try to give it a try. Now it's saying style.css because we don't have it here, so we can get rid of this file. Now we are pretty much good now. You see here. So this is why happening, this is repeating so many times because we have called the titles here as well as here. So I'll get rid of this title to make it, one time presentable there. You see. So what we done, we have applied rule number 1, single responsibility principle, but if you look at the file, it is saying it is all about comment. The post is all about post and user is all about post. The user is all about user one. And app.js responsibility to compose everything together, to make it a complete application, to make it a complete web page and have all the components, combined together. So each file has its own job to do. So where we have applied the rule number 1, single responsibility principle.